The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, a relentless hum that drilled into Sarah Coleman's skull. Her hands trembled as she gripped the edge of the desk, chalk dust clinging to her fingertips. 30 pairs of eyes stared at her, some curious, some bored, a few mocking. The air in the classroom felt thick, suffocating, like it was pressing down on her chest. She'd been up all night grading papers, her third coffee of the morning long gone cold on the podium. Her voice cracked as she tried to speak. "Class, please, open your books to page 87. A snicker from the back. Tommy Grayson, slouched in his chair, smirked at his phone. She knew that look. Trouble. Her stomach twisted. She'd been teaching for 12 years, but this year, this group, it was breaking her. The deadlines, the parents, the endless meetings. She felt the tears before she could stop them, hot, humiliating. They spilled down her cheeks and the room went silent. "Miss Coleman?" A small voice, Jenny from the front row, concerned. Too late. Sarah's knees buckled. She sank into her chair, burying her face in her hands. The sobs came hard, jagged, tearing out of her like something alive. She didn't hear the click of Tommy's phone camera. Didn't see the flash. Didn't know that in 30 seconds the video would hit X, captioned, "Teacher loses it, LOL." The notification pinged as she sat on her couch, still in her wrinkled blouse, mascara streaking her face. Her phone buzzed again and again. She ignored it at first, staring at the wall, her mind a fog of exhaustion and shame. Then she looked. X was exploding. The video already had 10,000 views. Comments flooded in. Pathetic. Fire her. Kids these days don't need this. Her chest tightened. She dropped the phone, her breath shallow, ragged. She wanted to scream, to disappear. By 3:00 p.m., it was at 50,000 views. Local news picked it up. Teacher's meltdown goes viral. Her principal called. "Take a few days, Sarah, we'll handle it." His voice was clipped, cold. She knew what that meant. She was done. She curled into a ball on the couch, the weight of it all crushing her. Her career, her dignity, gone. The tears came again, quieter this time, soaking into the cushion. She didn't hear the phone buzz one last time. Elon Musk leaned back in his chair, the glow of 3 monitors bathing his face in blue light. His desk was a chaos of papers, coffee cups, and a half-disassembled prototype. He scrolled X absent-mindedly, his sharp eyes flicking over the noise of the internet. Then he stopped. The video. Sarah Coleman, sobbing at her desk. He watched it twice, his jaw tightening. The comments were brutal. He hated that. The mob. The feeding frenzy. He typed fast, fingers stabbing the keys. "This is what happens when we push people too far. She's not weak. The system is. We need to fix it." He hit send. The post went live at 8:47 a.m. Within minutes, it was trending. #Sarah Coleman. #Elon speaks. The internet flipped. Who was this woman? Why did he care? Sarah didn't see it. She was asleep, finally, her phone dead on the floor. She woke to pounding on her door. Her head throbbed, her mouth dry. She stumbled over, peering through the peephole. A man in a black suit, sunglasses, Tesla badge clipped to his chest. Her heart stopped. "Ms. Coleman, I'm with Tesla. Mr. Musk wants to meet you." She blinked, her brain sluggish. "What?" "Tomorrow. Austin. Plane leaves at 6 p.m. tonight. He's insistent." Her legs felt like jelly. "Elon Musk? The Elon Musk?" She opened the door a crack, her voice hoarse. "Why me?" The man didn't smile. "He saw the video. He has questions. Be ready." He handed her a folder, tickets, itinerary, a handwritten note. "You're not alone. EM." The door clicked shut behind him. Sarah stood there, the paper shaking in her hands. Her mind raced. Was this a joke? A trap? She hadn't showered in 2 days. Her life was in pieces. And now this? She sank to the floor, the note crumpled against her chest. Questions? What questions? Her eyes burned, but no tears came. She was too tired to cry, too tired to think. But something flickered inside her, fear, yes, but also a spark. Curiosity. Why her? Why now? The plane was small, sleek, a Tesla logo on the side. Sarah boarded, her duffel bag clutched tight, her hair pulled back in a messy bun. She hadn't packed much, just enough to survive whatever this was. The flight attendant didn't speak, just pointed to a seat. The engines hummed and the ground fell away. Her stomach lurched. She hadn't eaten since yesterday. She stared out the window, the clouds a blur. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. She replayed Musk's post in her head. "She's not weak, the system is." What did that mean? Was he mocking her? Pitying her? She didn't know him. Only the headlines, the memes, the larger-than-life figure. And now she was flying to meet him, alone. The plane hit turbulence. Her nails dug into the armrests. She closed her eyes, forcing herself to breathe. In, out. In, out. She could do this. She had to. But as the wheels touched down in Austin, her pulse spiked. The folder said 9 o'clock a.m. tomorrow, Tesla HQ. She had no idea what waited for her there. The building was a monolith of glass and steel buzzing with energy. Sarah stood in the lobby, her sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. She felt small, out of place. Her jeans were faded, her sweater frayed at the cuffs. Everyone else moved with purpose. Engineers, suits, people who belonged. She didn't. A woman approached, clipboard in hand. "Miss Coleman, this way." Sarah followed, her legs heavy, her mouth dry. The elevator climbed, the numbers ticking up, 10, 20, 30. Her ears popped. The doors opened to a hallway, then a massive office. And there he was, Elon Musk, standing by a window, hands in his pockets, staring out at the sprawl of Austin. He turned, his eyes locking onto hers, sharp, piercing. "Sarah," he said, his voice low, clipped. "You're here." She nodded, unable to speak. Her throat was sandpaper. He stepped closer, studying her. "I saw you break. I've been there. Tell me why." Her heart slammed against her ribs. Why? She didn't know where to start. The exhaustion, the kids, the video. Before she could answer, an alarm blared. Red lights flashed. Musk's face darkened. "Get down," he snapped, grabbing her arm. The window exploded. Glass rained down, sharp and glittering, slicing through the air. Sarah hit the floor hard, her palms scraping the polished concrete. Elon Musk's grip on her arm was iron, yanking her behind a desk as the alarm screamed. Her ears rang. Her breath came in gasps, shallow and fast. Shards crunched under her knees. She couldn't think. Couldn't move. What was happening? "Stay low," Musk barked, his voice cutting through the chaos. He crouched beside her, his eyes darting to the shattered window. Wind howled through the gap, paper swirling like frantic birds. His face was taut, jaw clenched, a vein pulsing at his temple. This wasn't the eccentric billionaire from TV. This was someone else. Someone hunted. Sarah's hands shook, blood smearing from a cut on her palm. What's going on?" Her voice was a croak, barely audible over the sirens. He didn't answer, his hand shot to his pocket, pulling out a phone. He tapped it once, twice, his fingers steady despite the madness. "Security, now, lock it down." He dropped the device, his gaze flicking to her. "You hurt?" She shook her head, then winced. A shard had nicked her cheek, a thin line of red welling up. She touched it, stunned. I don't understand." "You don't need to, not yet." He grabbed her wrist, pulling her toward a side door. "Move." Her legs obeyed before her mind caught up. They stumbled into a narrow hallway, the alarms fading to a dull pulse behind them. Her sneakers slipped on the floor, her heart hammering so hard she thought it might crack her ribs. Musk didn't slow, his stride long and urgent, dragging her along. She wanted to stop, to demand answers, but the air crackled with danger. She felt it in her bones. The elevator jolted to a stop, doors sliding open to a dim, cavernous space. Concrete walls, flickering lights, the hum of machinery. Sarah's lungs burned as she followed Musk out, her body screaming for rest. She hadn't slept properly in days, hadn't eaten since the plane. Her head spun, but she forced herself forward. He led her to a steel table, a makeshift command center littered with screens and cables. "Sit," he said, pointing to a chair. It wasn't a request. She collapsed into it, her hands trembling on her lap. Blood dripped from her palm onto her jeans, a dark stain spreading. She stared at it, numb. Musk paced, his shadow stretching across the floor. He muttered to himself, numbers, coordinates, something about protocols. She caught fragments, her mind too foggy to piece them together. "Why am I here?" she finally asked, her voice small but firm. "You said you had questions. Then the window." He stopped, turning to face her. His eyes were steel, unreadable. "I saw your video. I saw you break. I know that look. I've lived it." Her throat tightened. "So what? You pity me?" "No." His tone was sharp, almost angry. "I need you." She blinked, the words hanging between them. Need her? A washed-up teacher with a viral meltdown? Before she could respond, a screen behind him flickered to life, a grainy feed, security footage. The office they'd just fled. Figures in black moved through the wreckage, rifles in hand. Her stomach dropped. "Who are they?" she whispered. Musk's lips pressed into a thin line. "People who want what I have, what I'm building." She stared at the screen, her pulse racing. "And what's that?" He didn't answer. Instead, he tapped another device and a holographic display flared up, a blueprint, intricate and glowing. A machine, something massive. Her eyes widened, but she couldn't make sense of it. Gears, circuits, a core pulsing with light. It looked alive. "This," he said, his voice low, "is why they're here and why you're not going home yet." Her head throbbed, a dull ache spreading from her temples. She rubbed her eyes, the hologram's glow searing into her vision. Musk stood over it, his fingers tracing lines in the air, adjusting something she couldn't comprehend. She wanted to scream, to run, but where? She was 30 floors underground, trapped with a man she barely knew, hunted by shadows with guns. "Why me?" she asked again, louder this time. "I'm nobody. I teach algebra to kids who don't care. I cried on camera, that's it." He turned, his expression softening for the first time. "You're wrong. You're not nobody. You're a survivor. I saw it in your eyes, the way you kept going even when you broke. I need that." Her chest tightened. Survivor? She didn't feel like one. She felt like a wreck, exhausted, scared, bleeding on a chair in a bunker. For what? He hesitated, then leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "To finish what I started. To save what's left." Her breath caught. Save what? She opened her mouth to ask, but a sharp beep cut her off. Musk spun to the screens. The figures in black were closer now, elevator shaft descending fast. His hands clenched into fists. "They're coming," he said, his tone flat, final. "We're out of time." Sarah's heart lurched. "What do we do?" He grabbed a duffel bag from under the table, tossing it to her. It was heavy, clanking with metal. "You carry this. I'll get us out." She fumbled with the straps, her cut hand stinging. "Out where?" He didn't answer. He was already moving, pulling a panel from the wall. A tunnel yawned beyond it, dark, narrow, smelling of oil and earth. He stepped inside, glancing back at her. "You trust me?" She stared at him, her mind a storm. Trust him? She didn't even know him. But the footsteps echoed louder now, boots on concrete, closing in. She had no choice. She nodded, clutching the bag. Yeah." "Good," he said, and disappeared into the dark. The tunnel swallowed them. Sarah's sneakers slapped against wet stone, her breath ragged in her throat. Musk moved ahead, a flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. The bag dug into her shoulder, its weight dragging her down. Her legs burned, her vision blurred. She hadn't run like this since college, and even then she'd hated it. "Keep up," he called, his voice echoing off the walls. She gritted her teeth, pushing harder. The air was cold, damp, clinging to her skin. Her cheeks stung where the glass had cut her, sweat mixing with blood. She wanted to stop, to collapse, but the memory of those rifles kept her moving. Who were they? What did they want? And why was she here, running through a tunnel with Elon Musk? The passage twisted, narrowing. Her elbow scraped rock, tearing her sweater. She hissed, stumbling, but caught herself. Musk glanced back, his face shadowed. "You okay?" "No," she snapped, her voice raw. "I'm not okay. None of this is okay." He stopped, turning to her. The flashlight lit his features, hard lines, tired eyes. "I know. I'm sorry." She blinked, caught off guard. Sorry? From him? Before she could respond, a rumble shook the tunnel. Dust fell from the ceiling, a low growl building behind them. Her stomach twisted. "They're blasting through," Musk said, his voice tight. "We need to move, now." He grabbed her hand, pulling her forward. The rumble grew, a roar chasing them down the dark. Her lungs screamed, her body begging to stop. But she ran, the bag banging against her hip, his grip bruising her wrist. The tunnel split ahead, two paths, black and endless. "Which way?" she gasped. He hesitated, his eyes flicking between them. Then he chose, yanking her left. The roar was deafening now, heat licking at their backs. She didn't look, couldn't look. They rounded a corner and the ground dropped. Sarah's scream cut off as she hit water. Cold, brutal, it swallowed her, dragging her down. The bag slipped from her shoulders, sinking fast. She flailed, her arms thrashing, lungs burning. Darkness pressed in, thick and suffocating. Her sneakers kicked against nothing. Where was up? Where was Musk? Her head broke the surface, a gasp tearing from her throat. She coughed, water streaming down her face, stinging the cut on her cheek. The current tugged at her, relentless, pulling her deeper into the underground river. Her hands clawed at the air, searching for something, anything to hold. Then a hand grabbed her collar, yanking her sideways. "Got you!" Musk's voice rasped close to her ear. His arm hooked around her waist, strong, unyielding. She clung to him, her nails digging into his soaked jacket. The flashlight was gone, but a faint glow flickered ahead, green, eerie, bouncing off slick stone walls. Her teeth chattered, her body shaking uncontrollably. "Where are we?" "Old drainage system," he said, his breath ragged. "Keep moving." He half dragged, half carried her toward the light. Her legs felt like lead, numb from the cold. The water sloshed around her thighs, then her knees as the tunnel sloped upward. She stumbled, her knees slamming into rock. Pain shot through her, sharp and bright. She bit her lip, tasting blood, and kept going. She had to. The rumble from the tunnel above still echoed in her skull. Those men, their guns, the explosion. They weren't safe yet. The glow led them to a cavern vast and jagged, carved from the earth. Bioluminescent algae clung to the walls, casting a sickly sheen over everything. Sarah's chest heaved as she leaned against a boulder, her wet clothes clinging to her skin. Her hands were raw, her sweater torn at the elbow. She couldn't feel her toes. Exhaustion clawed at her, a weight she couldn't shake. Musk stood a few feet away, scanning the space. His hair dripped, plastered to his forehead, but his eyes were alert, calculating. He looked untouched by the chaos, focused, almost mechanical. It unnerved her. "The bag," she said, her voice hoarse. "I lost it." He glanced at her, his jaw tightening. "Doesn't matter, we're alive." "Doesn't matter?" She pushed off the rock, anger flaring through the fog in her head. "You gave it to me. Said it was important. What was in it?" He didn't answer right away. His hands flexed, then stilled. "A prototype. Part of the machine." Her stomach twisted. The hologram, the glowing, living thing he'd shown her. And now they have it? Maybe. His tone was flat, but his eyes flickered with something, worry, guilt. "We'll deal with that later." "Later?" She stepped closer, her voice rising. "People are trying to kill us. I'm soaked, bleeding, and I don't even know why I'm here. You owe me answers, Musk." He met her gaze, unflinching. "Call me Elon, and you're here because I saw you. Really saw you. That video, it wasn't weakness. It was strength. You didn't quit." Her breath caught, the words hitting her like a punch. Strength? She wanted to laugh, to scream. She'd cried in front of her students. She'd fallen apart. But his face, serious, almost pleading, stopped her. Before she could respond, a crack echoed through the cavern. Her head snapped up. The ceiling trembled, dust sifting down. Another blast. Closer this time. Her heart lurched. "They're still coming," Elon said, his voice low, urgent. He grabbed her arm again. "We need to go deeper." "Deeper?" She pulled back, panic rising. "Into what?" He pointed to a crevice in the wall, barely wide enough for a person. It's our only shot." Her stomach dropped. The gap looked like a tomb, dark, tight, endless. She shook her head, her wet hair sticking to her face. "I can't. I'm done. I can't keep running." "You can." His grip tightened, his eyes boring into hers. "You have to. For me. For this." He tapped his chest, then his head, quick, cryptic gestures. She didn't understand, but the intensity in his voice, the raw edge to it, pulled at something inside her. Fear battled with that spark from before. Curiosity, defiance. She hated him for this, hated herself for nodding. "Fine," she spat, shoving past him toward the crevice. "But you're explaining everything when we're out." "If we get out," he muttered, following her. The walls closed in, rough stones scraping her shoulders. Sarah's breath came in shallow bursts, the air stale and heavy. Her wet clothes chafed, her skin raw. She moved by feel, her hands groping ahead, Elon's footsteps steady behind her. The passage twisted, dipped, forcing her to crawl. Her knees bled through her jeans, the pain a dull roar. She bit back a sob. "Keep going, just keep going." Her fingers brushed something smooth, metal. She froze, squinting in the dark. A hatch, embedded in the floor, rusted but solid. She ran her hands over it, finding a handle. "Elon," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Here." He squeezed beside her, his shoulder pressing against hers. His breath was warm on her neck as he examined it. "Good find. This could be it." "It what?" she asked, but he was already pulling, grunting with effort. The hatch groaned, then popped open. A ladder descended into shadow, cold air rushing up. Her stomach flipped. "Where does it go?" she asked, peering down. "Somewhere safe, maybe." He swung a leg over the edge, testing the rungs. "You first." She hesitated, her hands shaking. The cavern rumbled again, louder, closer. Rocks clattered behind them, no time. She climbed down, her palms slick with sweat and blood. The ladder creaked under her weight, swaying slightly. Elon followed, pulling the hatch shut above them. Darkness swallowed them whole. Her feet hit solid ground, a jolt running up her spine. She stumbled, catching herself against a wall. It was smooth, cool, man-made. Lights flickered on, dim and yellow, revealing a small room. Concrete floor, steel shelves, a cot in the corner, a safe house. Her legs gave out and she sank to the floor, her back against the wall. Her chest heaved, her body a mess of aches and shivers. Elon dropped beside her, his face pale, streaked with dirt. He looked human now, tired, frayed. Not the untouchable genius, just a man. "We made it," he said, his voice rough. "Bus." "For now." She nodded, too exhausted to speak. Her eyes drifted to the shelves, canned food, a radio, a stack of files. One caught her eye, a red stamp on the cover, classified, Project Phoenix. Her pulse quickened. She reached for it, but Elon's hand shot out, stopping her. "Not yet," he said, his tone sharp. "Rest first." She glared at him, yanking her hand back. "You said you'd explain." "I will." He leaned his head against the wall, closing his eyes. "But you need to know something first. This isn't just about Tesla, it's personal." Her breath hitched. "Personal how?" He opened his eyes, and for the first time she saw pain there. Deep, raw, unguarded. "I lost someone who mattered. This..." He gestured vaguely around them. "It's for her." Her mind raced. Her? Who? Before she could ask, the radio crackled to life, static cutting through the silence. A voice broke through, distorted but clear enough. "Musk, we know you're down there. Give us the core or we bury you." Sarah's blood ran cold. Elon's face hardened, his hand tightening into a fist. He stood, moving to the radio, but didn't respond. Not yet. The static hissed again and the voice laughed. "Oh, and bring the teacher. She's part of this now." The voice on the radio lingered in the air, a cold blade twisting in Sarah's gut. "She's part of this now." Her hands shook, pressed against the concrete floor. The words echoed, mocking her. Part of what? She was a teacher, not a soldier, not a piece in whatever game this was. Her eyes darted to Elon, his silhouette rigid against the flickering light. He stared at the radio, his fists clenched so tight his knuckles were white. "Who are they?" she demanded, her voice cracking. "And why me?" He didn't turn. His shoulders rose and fell, a slow, deliberate breath. "They're mercenaries, hired by someone who wants what I've built. As for you..." He paused, his head tilting slightly. "They're wrong. You're not part of it. Not yet." "Not yet?" She scrambled to her feet, her legs wobbly but fueled by anger. "I'm here bleeding, running for my life because of you. Don't lie to me, Elon. What do they want?" He faced her then, his eyes dark, shadowed. "The core. The heart of Project Phoenix. It's everything." She remembered the hologram, the machine alive with light. Her throat tightened. "And what is it? No more vague answers, tell me." He stepped closer, his voice dropping low. "It's a power source. Infinite, clean, unstoppable. It could change the world or destroy it. Depends on who controls it." Her breath caught. Infinite power? The weight of it pressed down on her, heavier than the water, the tunnels, the fear. "And you lost it. In that bag." His jaw twitched. "Yes, but there's more. Another piece. Hidden. They don't know that." She stared at him, her mind spinning. Hidden? More secrets. She wanted to scream, to shake him until he spilled it all, but the radio crackled again, cutting through her thoughts. "Musk," the voice sneered. "Time's up. We're coming down. Last chance." Elon's hand hovered over the radio, then dropped. He turned to the shelves, grabbing a small black case. He flipped it open, a pistol, sleek and cold. Sarah's stomach lurched. "You're not serious," she said, stepping back. "I am." He checked the clip, his movements precise, practiced. "They won't stop. We fight or we die." Her heart slammed against her ribs. Fight? She'd never held a gun, never wanted to. Her hands curled into fists, nails digging into her palms. "I can't do this." "You can." He held out a second pistol, smaller, its grip worn. "You've made it this far. You're stronger than you think." She stared at it, her mouth dry. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in. The rumble from above grew louder. Boots, machinery, the hunters closing in. She took the gun, her fingers trembling. It was heavy, alien in her hand. She hated it, hated him. "Fine," she whispered, her voice breaking. "But after this, you tell me everything, no more games." He nodded, a flicker of something, respect in his eyes. "Deal." They moved to the hatch, Elon leading, his gun raised. Sarah followed, her weapon clutched tight, her pulse a frantic drumbeat. Her wet clothes stuck to her skin, her sneakers squishing with every step. The air was thick, stale, tinged with the metallic scent of fear. She didn't know how to shoot, didn't know if she could, but she'd try. She had to. Elon pressed his ear to the hatch, listening. A faint clang echoed from above, metal on metal. They were close. He gestured for her to stay back, then cracked the hatch open, peering up. Shadows moved in the passage, quick and silent. He shut it fast, his face grim. 6, maybe 7, he whispered, armed. "We can't hold here." Her stomach twisted. "Then what?" He pointed to a vent in the wall, barely visible behind a shelf. "That. It loops back to the surface. Narrow, but will fit." She eyed it, dread pooling in her chest. Another tunnel, another squeeze. Her body ached, her cuts burned, but the alternative, facing those guns head-on, was worse. She nodded, shoving the pistol into her waistband. It dug into her hip, a cold reminder. Elon moved the shelf, grunting as it scraped the floor. The vent cover popped off with a clang, revealing a shaft just wide enough for her shoulders. He boosted her up, his hands firm on her waist. She crawled in, the metal icy against her palms. Her elbows banged the sides, her breath echoing in the tight space. Elon followed, his boots scraping behind her. The shaft sloped upward, steep and slick. Her arms shook, her strength fading. She slipped, sliding back, but Elon's hand caught her ankle, pushing her forward. "Keep going," he hissed. She did, clawing her way up, her nails bending against the steel. Her lungs burned, her vision blurring. The shaft seemed endless, a coffin of rust and dust. Sweat mixed with blood on her hands, making them slip. She stopped, gasping, her forehead pressed to the metal. "I can't," she panted. "I can't do this." "You can," Elon said, his voice steady, close. "You're almost there." She wanted to believe him, but her body screamed otherwise. Her muscles trembled, her cuts throbbed. She was breaking again, like in the classroom, the weight too much. Then she heard it, a shout, muffled but clear, below them. They'd found the bunker. Panic surged through her, electric. She moved faster now, dragging herself toward a faint light ahead. The shaft leveled out, opening to a grate. She kicked it loose, tumbling onto a concrete ledge. Elon landed beside her, his gun already up, scanning. They were in a maintenance room, pipes, valves, a single door. The surface? She didn't know. Her chest heaved, her hands bloody and shaking. She pulled the pistol out, gripping it tight. Elon moved to the door, cracking it open. Sunlight spilled in, blinding her. Fresh air hit her face, sharp and clean. "Outside," he said, relief in his voice. "We're A shot rang out. He ducked, slamming the door shut. Sarah flinched, her gun slipping in her sweaty hands. Bullets pinged off the metal, a rapid staccato. Her ears rang, her heart in her throat. "They're here," Elon said, his tone flat, deadly. "Back the other way." She spun, searching the room, another vent higher up, half hidden by pipes. She pointed, her voice trembling. "There?" He nodded, dragging a crate over. They climbed, her legs barely holding her. The bullets kept coming, denting the door. She squeezed into the vent, Elon behind her, the space tighter than before. Her shoulders scraped, her breath hitching. The door below burst open as she crawled, boots stomping in. The vent twisted, branching into a maze. Sarah's arms gave out and she collapsed, her cheek pressed to the cold metal. Her body was done, shivering, aching, spent. Elon stopped beside her, his breathing heavy. Blood streaked his sleeve, a graze, fresh. He hadn't said a word about it. "We lost them," he said, peering back. "For now." She nodded, too tired to speak. Her eyes drifted shut, but his hand on her shoulder jolted her awake. "Not yet," he said. "We're close." "Close to what?" she rasped, forcing herself up. He didn't answer. Instead, he pulled a small device from his pocket, a tracker, its screen glowing. A red dot blinked, steady nearby. "The other piece," he said. "It's here." Her pulse quickened. The core, the thing they wanted. She followed him, crawling again, her body protesting every inch. The vent opened to a platform, a hidden nook overlooking a massive chamber. Below, a machine hummed, huge, intricate, the twin of the hologram. The core pulsed at its center, a sphere of light. Sarah stared, awe battling exhaustion. "That's it?" "Yes," Elon said, his voice soft, reverent. He leaned closer, his eyes distant. "It's for her, my daughter." Her head snapped to him. "Daughter?" He nodded, pain etching his face. "She died years ago. This was her dream, energy for everyone. I promised her I'd finish it." Her chest tightened, a lump rising in her throat. Before she could speak, the platform shook. Voices shouted below, harsh, commanding. The mercenaries. They'd found the chamber. Elon grabbed her arm, pulling her back. "They can't have it." A spotlight swept up, catching them in its glare. A voice boomed, chillingly familiar. "Musk, we see you. Give it up or she dies first." Sarah's blood froze. A figure stepped into view below, holding a rifle. And beside him, Tommy Grayson, her student, smirking up at her. Sarah's breath stopped, her eyes locked on Tommy Grayson. His smirk was the same, lazy, cruel, the one he'd worn in her classroom. The rifleman beside him, a hulking figure in black, kept his weapon trained upward, the spotlight pinning her and Elon to the platform. Her hands shook, the pistol slipping in her sweaty grip. Her student, her tormentor, here. "Tommy?" Her voice cracked, barely a whisper. "What are you doing?" He laughed, a sharp, ugly sound that echoed off the chamber walls. "Hey, Miss Coleman, guess you're not crying now, huh?" Her stomach churned. The video. He'd taken it, posted it, ruined her. And now this, standing with killers, mocking her in a place she didn't belong. Her mind reeled, pieces snapping together. The viral clip hadn't been random. It was bait. Elon's hand tightened on her arm, pulling her back from the edge. "Stay focused," he hissed, his voice low, urgent. "He's not the threat. They are." She glanced at him, his face taut, blood dripping from the graze on his arm. The core pulsed below, its light casting long shadows. The machine hummed, a living thing, and she felt its pull. His daughter's dream, his promise. But Tommy's presence shattered her focus. Why him? How? The rifleman shouted again, his voice cold, commanding. "Musk, last warning, the core or we start with her." He jerked his head toward Sarah, the barrel shifting slightly. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Tommy stepped forward, his smirk widening. "She's nobody, man. Just shoot her. Get it over with." Nobody. The word stabbed her, deeper than the glass, the cold, the exhaustion. She'd heard it before, from parents, colleagues, herself, but hearing it from him, here lit something inside her. Rage. She gripped the pistol tighter, her knuckles white. Elon moved, shielding her with his body. "You want it?" he called down, his tone defiant. "Come take it." A beat of silence, then chaos. The rifleman fired, bullets ripping into the platform. Sarah dropped flat, her cheek pressed to the metal, shards flying around her. Elon returned fire, his shots precise, forcing the men below to scatter. The core's light flickered, the machine groaning under the strain. "Move!" Elon grabbed her, dragging her toward a ladder bolted to the wall. Her legs shook, but she followed, the pistol banging against her hip. Bullets pinged off the steel, sparks raining down. She climbed, her hands slick with sweat and blood, her breath ragged. Tommy's laugh chased her, a taunt she couldn't shake. They reached a lower level, a narrow walkway circling the machine. The core glowed brighter now, a heartbeat of energy. Sarah's chest heaved, her body screaming for rest. She leaned against a railing, her vision swimming. Elon crouched beside her, reloading his gun, his face grim. "They're using him," he said, his voice tight. "The kid, he's a pawn." "A pawn?" She glared at him, her voice raw. "He filmed me. He started this. He's not innocent." Elon met her gaze, his eyes hard but searching. "Maybe not, but he's not the one pulling strings. Someone wanted you here, someone who knew I'd see that video." Her stomach dropped. "What are you saying?" He didn't answer. A clatter below, boots on metal. They were climbing. She peeked over the edge, her heart sinking. 5 men, armed, moving fast. Tommy trailed behind, a knife in his hand now, his smirk gone, replaced by something darker. Fear? Hate? She couldn't tell. Elon pulled her back, his hand on her shoulder. "We can't fight them all. We need to disable it." "Disable what?" she asked, but he was already moving, prying open a panel on the machine. Wires spilled out, a tangle of color and light. He yanked one, then another, his fingers steady despite the chaos. "The core," he said, not looking at her. "If they get it, it's over. I'd rather destroy it than let them win." Her breath caught. Destroy it? His daughter's dream? She grabbed his arm, stopping him. "Wait. You can't. You said—" "I know what I said." His voice broke, raw and jagged, but she'd understand. She wouldn't want this. Blood, death. It was supposed to save people, not kill them. Tears stung her eyes, unexpected, hot. She saw it then, the weight he carried, the grief etched into every line of his face. He wasn't the untouchable genius. He was a father, broken, trying to keep a promise. Her hand fell away, trembling. "Okay," she whispered. "Do it." He nodded, reaching for a switch deep in the panel. But before he could flip it, a shadow loomed behind them. Sarah turned, too slow. The rifleman, the leader, stood there, his gun raised. Blood streaked his face, a gash from Elon's shots, but he was steady, lethal. "Step away," he growled. "Now." Elon froze, his hand hovering over the switch. Sarah's pistol was in her hand, but her arm shook, the barrel wavering. She'd never shot anyone. Could she? The man's eyes flicked to her, cold, assessing. "Drop it, teacher," he said, "or I drop him." Her throat closed. She glanced at Elon, his jaw tight, his eyes pleading. "Don't." She didn't know if he meant the gun or the core.
Time stretched, her pulse deafening. Then a shout from below. Tommy climbing up, his knife glinting. The distraction was enough. Elon lunged, tackling the man. They hit the walkway hard, grappling, the gun skittering away. Sarah moved, instinct taking over. She aimed at the rifleman's leg, her finger on the trigger, pulled it. The shot rang out, loud and final. He roared, clutching his thigh, blood pooling fast. Elon pinned him, wrenching his arms back. "Stay down," he snarled, then looked at her. "Good shot." She nodded, numb, the pistol heavy in her hand. But the relief was short-lived. Tommy reached the platform, his knife raised, his eyes wild. "You bitch!" he spat, lunging at her. Here's the fifth part of the six-part dramatic story. The stakes reach a boiling point. Sarah faces a devastating betrayal, and Elon's vulnerability deepens the narrative. This part is approximately 10,000 characters and ends with a cliffhanger to propel the story toward its conclusion. Part 5. Betrayal in the Light Timestamp. October 16, 2024, 10:32 a.m. Hidden chamber beneath Tesla HQ. Sarah's breath stopped, her eyes locked on Tommy Grayson. His smirk was the same, lazy, cruel, the one he'd worn in her classroom. The rifleman beside him, a hulking figure in black, kept his weapon trained upward, the spotlight pinning her and Elon to the platform. Her hand shook, the pistol slipping in her sweaty grip. Her student, her tormentor, here. "Tommy?" Her voice cracked, barely a whisper. "What are you doing?" He laughed, a sharp, ugly sound that echoed off the chamber walls. "Hey, Miss Coleman, guess you're not crying now, huh?" Her stomach churned. The video. He'd taken it, posted it, ruined her. And now this, standing with killers, mocking her in a place she didn't belong. Her mind reeled, pieces snapping together. The viral clip hadn't been random. It was bait. Elon's hand tightened on her arm, pulling her back from the edge. "Stay focused," he hissed, his voice low, urgent. "He's not the threat, they are." She glanced at him, his face taut, blood dripping from the graze on his arm. The core pulsed below, its light casting long shadows. The machine hummed, a living thing, and she felt its pull, his daughter's dream, his promise. But Tommy's presence shattered her focus. Why him? How? The rifleman shouted again, his voice cold, commanding. "Musk, last warning. The core, or we start with her." He jerked his head towards Sarah, the barrel shifting slightly. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Tommy stepped forward, his smirk widening. "She's nobody, man. Just shoot her. Get it over with." Nobody. The word stabbed her, deeper than the glass, the cold, the exhaustion. She'd heard it before, from parents, colleagues, herself. But hearing it from him, here lit something inside her. Rage. She gripped the pistol tighter, her knuckles white. Elon moved, shielding her with his body. "You want it?" he called down, his tone defiant. "Come take it." A beat of silence. Then chaos. The rifleman fired, bullets ripping into the platform. Sarah dropped flat, her cheek pressed to the metal, shards flying around her. Elon returned fire, his shots precise, forcing the men below to scatter. The core's light flickered, the machine groaning under the strain. "Move." Elon grabbed her, dragging her toward a ladder bolted to the wall. Her legs shook, but she followed, the pistol banging against her hip. Bullets pinged off the steel, sparks raining down. She climbed, her hands slick with sweat and blood, her breath ragged. Tommy's laugh chased her, a taunt she couldn't shake. Timestamp. October 16th, 2024, 10:37 a.m. Machine platform. They reached a lower level, a narrow walkway circling the machine. The core glowed brighter now, a heartbeat of energy. Sarah's chest heaved, her body screaming for rest. She leaned against a railing, her vision swimming. Elon crouched beside her, reloading his gun, his face grim. "They're using him," he said, his voice tight. "The kid, he's a pawn." "A pawn?" She glared at him, her voice raw. "He filmed me. He started this. He's not innocent." Elon met her gaze, his eyes hard but searching. "Maybe not. But he's not the one pulling strings. Someone wanted you here, someone who knew I'd see that video." Her stomach dropped. "What are you saying?" He didn't answer. A clatter below, boots on metal. They were climbing. She peeked over the edge, her heart sinking. 5 men, armed, moving fast. Tommy trailed behind, a knife in his hand now, his smirk gone, replaced by something darker. Fear? Hate? She couldn't tell. Elon pulled her back, his hand on her shoulder. "We can't fight them all. We need to disable it." Disable what? She asked, but he was just already moving, prying open a panel on the machine. Wires spilled out, a tangle of color and light. He yanked one, then another, his fingers steady despite the chaos. "The core," he said, not looking at her. "If they get it, it's over. I'd rather destroy it than let them win." Her breath caught. Destroy it? His daughter's dream? She grabbed his arm, stopping him. "Wait, you can't. You said—" "I know what I said." His voice broke, raw and jagged. But she'd understand. She wouldn't want this. Blood, death. It was supposed to save people, not kill them. Tears stung her eyes, unexpected, hot. She saw it then. The weight he carried, the grief etched into every line of his face. He wasn't the untouchable genius. He was a father, broken, trying to keep a promise. Her hand fell away, trembling. "Okay," she whispered. "Do it." He nodded, reaching for a switch deep in the panel. But before he could flip it, a shadow loomed behind them. Sarah turned, too slow. The rifleman, the leader, stood there, his gun raised. Blood streaked his face, a gash from Elon's shots. But he was steady, lethal. "Step away," he growled. "Now!" Elon froze, his hand hovering over the switch. Sarah's pistol was in her hand, but her arm shook, the barrel wavering. She'd never shot anyone. Could she? The man's eyes flicked to her, cold, assessing. "Drop it, teacher," he said, "or I drop him." Her throat closed. She glanced at Elon, his jaw tight, his eyes pleading. "Don't." She didn't know if he meant the gun or the core. Time stretched, her pulse deafening, then a shout from below. Tommy climbing up, his knife glinting. The distraction was enough. Elon lunged, tackling the man. They hit the walkway hard, grappling, the gun skittering away. Sarah moved, instinct taking over. She aimed at the rifleman's leg, her finger on the trigger, pulled it. The shot rang out, loud and final. He roared, clutching his thigh, blood pooling fast. Elon pinned him, wrenching his arms back. "Stay down," he snarled, then looked at her. "Good shot." She nodded, numb, the pistol heavy in her hand. But the relief was short-lived. Tommy reached the platform, his knife raised, his eyes wild. "You bitch," he spat, lunging at her. Timestamp, October 16th, 2024, 10:42 a.m. Core walkway. Sarah dodged, the blade slicing her sleeve, grazing her arm. Pain flared, hot and sharp. She stumbled back, the pistol slipping from her grip, clattering to the edge. Tommy swung again, his face twisted with rage. She caught his wrist, her hands slick with blood, her strength fading. He was stronger, younger, fueled by something she didn't understand. "Tommy, stop," she gasped, shoving him back. "Why are you doing this?" He laughed, bitter, breathless. "You think this is about you? They paid me, said you'd lead him here. You're just a tool, Miss Coleman." Her chest tightened. A tool. Bait. The realization hit her like a fist, her breakdown, the video, all of it orchestrated. But by who? She didn't have time to think. Tommy broke free, slashing again. She ducked, her foot catching his ankle. He tripped, falling hard, the knife skidding away. Elon was there, hauling him up by the collar. "Who paid you?" he demanded, shaking him. "Talk," Tommy smirked, blood on his lip. "You'll find out." Too late, though. A rumble shook the chamber deeper than before. The core's light flared, unstable, the machine whining. Sarah's eyes widened. "Elon, what's happening?" He dropped Tommy, rushing to the panel. "They've triggered it. It's overloading." Her heart stopped. Overloading? The core pulsed faster. Heat radiating from it, the air crackling. Elon yanked wires, his hands a blur, but the light grew blinding. She shielded her eyes, panic clawing at her. "We need to get out," she shouted, grabbing his arm. "No," he said, his voice steady, desperate. "I can stop it. I have to." The rifleman laughed, weak but vicious, from the floor. "You can't. It's done. She's gone, Musk. Again." Elon froze, his face paling. Sarah's stomach dropped. She his daughter? Before she could ask, the chamber shook again, cracks splitting the walls. The core's hum became a scream, deafening, unbearable. Elon turned to her, his eyes wild. "Run, now!" She hesitated, torn. Leave him after everything? But the heat was searing, the light blinding. She grabbed his hand, pulling. "Not without you." He resisted, then relented, stumbling after her. They ran. The walkway buckling beneath them, Tommy's laughter fading behind. The core exploded in a flash of white, and the world collapsed. The explosion roared, a wave of heat and light slamming into Sarah. She hit the ground, her arms shielding her face, debris raining down. Her ears rang, a high-pitched whine drowning everything else. She tasted blood, felt the sting of fresh cuts. The walkway was gone. Twisted metal and shattered stone surrounded her. She coughed, dust choking her lungs, and groped blindly for Elon. "Elon!" Her voice was raw, barely audible over the chaos. Her hand found his jacket, soaked and torn. She pulled, dragging him from under a slab of concrete. His eyes fluttered open, dazed, blood streaking his forehead. Alive, barely. The core was silent now, its light extinguished. The machine lay in ruins, a smoking husk. Sarah's chest tightened, his daughter's dream gone. She hauled him up, her arms trembling, her body screaming in protest. "We need to move," she gasped. "It's not over." He nodded, sluggish, leaning on her. The chamber groaned, walls cracking, the ceiling sagging. They stumbled forward, her sneakers crunching on glass and ash. A faint light flickered ahead, a breach, daylight piercing the dark. She aimed for it, her legs shaking, his weight dragging her down. Every step hurt, every breath burned, but she kept going. She had to. They burst into the open, collapsing onto scorched grass. The air was sharp, cold, a shock after the heat below. Sarah's knees buckled, and she fell beside Elon, her hands bloody, her sweater in tatters. Smoke billowed from the wreckage behind them, sirens wailing in the distance. Tesla HQ loomed above, its glass facade cracked, a monument to the chaos they'd escaped. Elon coughed, rolling onto his back. His face was pale, streaked with dirt and blood, but his eyes were clear, fixed on the sky. "It's gone," he whispered, his voice hollow. "All of it." She followed his gaze, her chest tight. The core. Project Phoenix, his daughter's legacy. "I'm sorry," she said, the words heavy, inadequate. He shook his head, a faint, bitter smile tugging at his lips. "Don't be. You got us out. You didn't break." Her throat closed. Didn't break? She felt shattered, exhausted, bruised, haunted by Tommy's betrayal, the rifleman's threats. But she was here, breathing, alive. Maybe that was enough. A shadow moved nearby, Tommy staggering from the rubble, his knife still in hand. Sarah tensed, her hand reaching for the pistol that wasn't there, lost in the collapse. Elon sat up, his body coiled, ready. Tommy stopped, swaying, blood dripping from a gash on his arm. His smirk was gone, replaced by a hollow stare. "They're dead," he said, his voice flat. "All of them. You won." Sarah's stomach twisted. "Won?" This didn't feel like victory. "Who sent you?" she demanded, her voice shaking. "Who paid you to ruin me?" He laughed, a weak, broken sound. "Doesn't matter now. They'll find another way. They always do." He dropped the knife, sinking to his knees, his eyes distant. "I just wanted the money." She stared at him, rage and pity warring inside her. He was a kid, stupid, greedy, lost. But he'd destroyed her life, led her here. She wanted to hate him, to scream, but she was too tired, too empty. Elon stood unsteady, his gaze fixed on Tommy. "Tell me who," he said, his tone low, dangerous, "or I make sure you don't walk away." Tommy looked up, fear flickering in his eyes. "Some suit. Never got a name. Said you'd chase her, that she'd bring you out. That's all I know." Sarah's breath caught. Bait. She'd been bait all along, not for her, but for him. Her breakdown, the video orchestrated to lure Elon into the open, Her hands clenched, nails digging into her palms. "Why me?" she whispered, more to herself than anyone. Elon turned to her, his expression softening. "Because you're like her, my daughter. She never gave up, even when it hurt. I saw that in you." Her eyes stung, tears spilling over. She wiped them away, angry, overwhelmed. "I'm not her. I'm just me." "I know." He stepped closer, his voice quiet, raw. "That's why I needed you. Not to replace her, to remind me." Police swarmed the scene, lights flashing, voices shouting. Sarah sat on the grass, a blanket around her shoulders, her cuts bandaged by a medic. Elon stood nearby, talking to an officer, his posture stiff but unbroken. Tommy was gone, cuffed, hauled away, his fate no longer hers to carry. She watched the smoke curl into the sky, her mind a tangle of grief and relief. The core was lost, the machine destroyed, but they'd survived. She'd survived. Her hands still shook, her body ached, but something had shifted inside her. She wasn't the teacher who'd cried in room 204, not anymore. Elon walked over, his face weary but calm. He sat beside her, silent for a moment, then spoke. "I'm sorry I dragged you into this. I didn't know it'd go this far." She nodded, her throat tight. "Why didn't you tell me? About her?" He looked down, his hands clasped. Her name was Lily. She was 10. Cancer took her. She loved science, dreamed of fixing the world. Phoenix was hers, her sketches, her ideas. I just made it real. Her chest ached, a lump rising. "And now it's gone." "No." He met her eyes, a spark there, faint but alive. "The idea's still here. I'll rebuild, for her, for everyone." She studied him, the man behind the myth. Not a genius, not a savior, just a father, grieving, fighting, human. "You don't give up, do you? Not when it matters." He paused, then added, "Neither do you." She laughed, a small, shaky sound. "I guess not." A helicopter buzzed overhead, news crews circling. The world would want answers. About Tesla, the explosion, her. She didn't care, not yet.
For now, she sat there, the grass cold beneath her, the blanket warm, Elon's quiet presence beside her. It was enough. She stood in her kitchen, coffee steaming in her mug. The news played on her phone. Tesla incident, teacher's role revealed, but she muted it. Her hands were steady now, the cuts healing, the bruises fading. She'd slept finally a deep, dreamless sleep. The weight was still there, but lighter, bearable. A knock at the door. She opened it, finding a package. No sender, just her name. Inside, a note and a small silver pendant shaped like a phoenix. The note read, "For surviving, for reminding me. Keep going, E.M." She smiled, faint but real, slipping the pendant around her neck. It rested against her chest, cool and solid, a promise, not his, but hers. To keep going, to rebuild, not for him, not for Lily, but for herself. Outside, the sun rose, cutting through the fog. She stepped onto her balcony, coffee in hand, and breathed. The world was still there, messy and broken, but hers to face, and she would.